Mate, it's Harry Redknapp here. You're listening to a proper podcast. It's the Alan Hudson Podcast. It's proper football, proper talk.
Hello again. Welcome to the podcast, the Alan Hudson Podcast. Thanks for joining us. We've got another terrific guest joining us today. This guy was, I tell you what, he was one of the most elegant, cultured midfield players I've ever seen in a blue shirt at Stamford Bridge. But before we get to him, I think Alan's got a few words about subscriptions. Over to you, Alan.
Thanks, Tone. If you're not a subscriber, if you've not subscribed to our podcasts, can you please subscribe, and then we can carry on, because we got Micky on today, and we got some big faces coming on in the new year. So stick with us and help us out by subscribing, please. And that was all off the cuff, Tone.
Brilliant. Honestly, BBC and ITV have missed out with you.
Yeah. Not
to mention Sky. But anyway, let's get on to our guest today. As I say, he wore the number 8 shirt for a long time for Chelsea. He was a brilliant presence in the midfield. And it is indeed Micky Fillery. Micky, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Tony. Hang on a minute. I'm just subscribing to your channel, all right?
Oh, you better.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, mate. Are you all right?
Micky's what you might call, I usually call him Michael because there's through respect, but would you say you're an enigma?
What do you
know what that means? You know what that means?
No, I don't. What do you mean by enigma?
Well, it's kind of I was just writing about Cole Palmer, strangely enough, just before Tony called me. And they write all this trash they write about him, because nobody knows where he gets this gift from. And you're a little bit like him, you go on the field and nobody knows what you're going to get up to. Your technique is superb.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I had no fear of going out, because I know I had a bit like you say, I had confidence in my own ability,
Yeah.
And I'd go out and play the way I wanted to, not the way the manager would tell me to play. I'd follow the guidelines to a certain extent, you know what I mean?
Well, the strangest thing about football is the time when I went back to the Bridge, and it was just a fluke, really. As a fluke, really. Ken Bates signed me. John Neal, I would never sign under John Neal. He didn't want me.
Oh, no.
But Ken Bates called me in his office one day, and he signed me because he seen me training at Aberystwyth one day, chasing Cannonville along the beach. And he must have twigged to him that I weren't messing about, I weren't coming in the back of the thing and he say, "Oh, he's not even trying the leg," So I signed for Ken. And I knew straight away I weren't going to get a game, but it didn't really bother me because I was back in work. I was coming back to Chelsea. My family was still here, and I kind of took it as a holiday.
Yeah, I was there at the time.
That's how we met, wasn't it?
And I could not believe how they didn't give you a go. Got you involved. I was looking forward to playing with you.
Well.
We played I remember playing in training games and playing in like 5-a-sides and stuff like that. And people couldn't get the ball off of me and you. And I remember then John Neal wouldn't put me and you on the same team. And from years ago, when I grew up at Chelsea with Dario Gradi, he said, "You watch Huddy." He said, "He lends the ball to people, lends it to them. And you do, you lend it so they get it back." And he said, "You get that into your game," he said. But I remember that. We were in training, me and you was lending it back to one another. No one else could get the fucking ball.
Well, yeah, and it was what I was gonna say, Michael, is and with Dow
Jasper, yeah, good player as well.
Fabulous talent. I can't believe how they messed him about. They played him centre half, although Alan saw him play at Crewe centre half. He said he was in that league. He was like Beckenbauer in Crewe, but that was a lower league. And they blamed him for a game at Sunderland when he played centre half. But he was never a centre half. He was like. I mean, when I played in the reserves with him, like with you, I'd stand back and watch you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And say, and I remember saying to you when you first when I got to go to QPR, I tried to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
And I said, you're only going there because they got Guinness sponsoring them.
You're right there. But the reason I went is Chelsea forced my hand. I was telling Tony yesterday. It was the end of the season. It might have been a season. I think it was a season after you come back. I was, and
when they won promotion.
No, that might because I wasn't at Aberystwyth when you was there, so that must have been the time, wasn't it?
Right? Yeah, that was a season. It was a pre-season of the promotion season.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there, was I? Because they told me they offered me £25 to stay at the club, and I turned the contract down, right? And then John Neal pulled me in the office. We were about to go to Aberystwyth the next day. And he said, you might as well stay back here. He said, because we're not going to renew your contract. He said, you might as well get yourself a new club. And that's the truth of the matter,
Yeah,
I didn't want to leave Chelsea, never did. But that's the way it went. So Batesy forced my hand. I think Batesy thought he was going to get big money for me, but he didn't at the end of the day. So it went to a tribunal, and they only got 155 grand.
Well, you know
that pleased Terry Venables. He was laughing his head off when he come out the tribunal,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, that's the ignorance of the management, because if you're trying to sell a player, you don't put him in the reserves, and go, well, he can't get in the Chelsea team. He's no good to us. You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous.
You've got to play him. You've got to put him in. You've got to put him in. So you see him on telly and play. This kid. I tell you, there'd be a lot of managers about that wouldn't play Palmer. They wouldn't have him in the side.
Well, I see Palmer play when he first came up at Man City, and I thought, who's this kid here? Jesus Christ, he's some player he is, Yeah. And I kept an eye out for him. He didn't play much, did he? You know what I mean? And when Chelsea signed him, I thought, what a signing that is,
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people didn't know who he was, did they?
Well, he was in and out of the Man City team, and what I love about him, his attitude is he asked Pep if he could play more.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is play football. That's what I was writing about him this morning. He's like, reminds me of being a kid at school. He weren't bothered about who they were playing against or whoever. He just wanted to play football. And Pep said, you'll have to take your turn like everyone else. Yeah. And he was better than all them, ability-wise. And he walked away. Yeah. So I'd like to know what his conversation with his father, what it's been like when I left Stoke, what Tony Warrington said to me, whatever you do, you're going to sign for me. I said, so far, so good on the Friday night. I said, I just got to go back to my prefab and speak to my dad about it. And I'll tell you what, I went back to my prefab, walked in, I said, Dad, Tony what it was. And it's almost as if Tony Waddington had phoned my dad before I was travelling, when I was travelling back to him, to tell him that he'd look after me. Because I got back and my dad said, yeah, get out of there. Get out of Chelsea, go up there, he said, because you're going nowhere here, you're going backwards. And I was. And he said he's a great football man. You see the players here. Oh, Tony told me that. That's how he sold me the club. And I always tell the story about my dad. When we played Liverpool and Shankly came in the dressing room to me, I told my dad afterwards. And my dad thought it was all because of getting away from Chelsea in the pubs. But what he didn't realise, in Chelsea, there was a pub on every corner. But in Stoke, there was a pub on every corner and one in between. There was more pubs in Stoke. So that blew that out of the water. But my dad, I didn't say nothing to my dad because he was delighted, he was delighted with the outcome. But it's the same kind of thing, I didn't know where Stoke were going to go. I remember the day I signed, Tony said to me, come up to Ipswich. We're playing Ipswich today to see your new team play. I said, I've got to say, Mr. Waddington, I wouldn't go across the road to watch Ipswich play Stoke. If I was at home, I'd pull my curtains. And that's what I said to him. And I went up to Fleet Street and done a deal with them about why I was moving and this and that. The other day, I had a party on the Saturday. Party continued all through Sunday, and I got to Stoke on the Monday. So
it's interesting.
I wish that because I don't know if I mentioned to you, but years later I tried to get Dow there.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I phoned him up one night. I said, "You're doing nothing. Come up and play for us." I said, "I was finished And I said to our manager, get this kid, have a look at him. He take my place. I said, don't worry about that. He'll be one of the great players of Stoke. And Dale said, no, my dad said, don't go up north.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, he signed for Crewe.
Like, you know,
But he signed for Crewe 6 months later, Mick.
Oh, that's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Funny say about dads, because, like, you know, my dad was a big influence on me. So I'd listen more to what my dad said about the way I played than I listened to what any manager or anyone else said, like, you know. They were in them days, you didn't have agents and stuff like that, did you?
Absolutely.
Your father was your guidance at the end of the day, wasn't they? You took their advice and you went by what they said, you know. And it's interesting. You're saying the same thing, like, you know what I mean? Is then Dale said his dad didn't want him to go up north, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They were talking the other night at Tottenham about Oddle, and they were saying about, and I said, yeah, I watched them play at the Bridge when you played. I think he scored a free kick, but then you overtook him, didn't you? You done the 25-yarder.
Yeah, I scored first, didn't I?
Yeah.
We scored, then he scored another one. He got a free kick. I can't remember how the goal he scored and went, but we could have won that game, to be honest with you. We had chances, like, a couple of chances we missed, like, you know.
Yeah.
At least drawn it and went into extra time or whatever. Yeah. Sad day.
Micky, can we go back to the start of your career and just give us a flavour of how you got into Stamford Bridge and how you were picked up by Chelsea and how it got going?
But basically, I've done a couple of podcasts. I'm going to go into all the early days. I was at Aston Villa was my first club. They picked me up when I was 10 years of age. I was playing out of my age group sort of thing. And to cut a long story short, I went across a trip on Germany with them pre-season. 10 years of me, I was at Tower Bridge, and my dad had forced me to get on the bus. I was crying my eye. I didn't want to get on there. Like, you know, I've never been away from home before. And I thoroughly enjoyed it at the end of the day. I was there for a week, and then I should go up backwards and forwards to Villa, like in the summer holidays and stuff like that. And then Chelsea, my dad used to play with Dario at Tooting and Mitcham. And Dario got wind of it. I was playing for the Merton side, but doing well in the English schools, children, all that, the London Trophy and all that, like, you know. And Dario got wind of it. He asked me to go down to Chelsea. I started training at Chelsea. And then the Aston Villa sort of dwindled out, and I got in the England schoolboys. I played twice at Wembley and scored. I think I scored 2 goals at Wembley. We beat France 5-2, and then Arsenal got involved with me. I was training at Chelsea 2 nights a week, Arsenal 2 nights a week. Like, you know, we play football. Well, I used to live in Terrace House. We used to play out on the street. We play in the park till the lights went out. To the park, keep it shut. The thing. Then we'd be playing out in the streets. The lights, the floodlights, street lights went out, and there's an old woman called Mrs. Beard who'd be waiting at the window. If the ball went in her garden, mate, she'd nick it, and that was a game over, wasn't it?
We had one of them in our street.
Everyone has one in the street, don't they?
Yeah, but especially when it goes through their window. But
anyway.
But I mean, you was far too young at that age. 10, 11, 12?
I was playing out my age group, 2 years, 3 years out of my age group for the local Sunday side, and that's how I got picked up by the clubs when I was a young age. Like, you know, they thought I was older than I was, you know. And then Chelsea, I had a choice to side where Arsenal was a schoolboy or Chelsea. And Arsenal offered me dad money, and we needed money at the time. I said, take the money, Dad, don't worry about it. But he thought it was better for me to go to Chelsea. I had more chance of getting in the side because Brady and Bricks had just got in the side at Arsenal. It was a good side, Arsenal.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you know, Arsenal, Highbury is an impressive place, isn't it? We walk through that.
Yeah.
The heated floors and all that, like, you know. And we turned the money down, and I signed for Chelsea as a schoolboy. And it went from there, and then I got my debut. Who was manager? Danny Blanchflower. He gave me my debut for Chelsea. And I played about 6 games. And I had a problem with my bloody wisdom teeth. They all played. I ended up as Stevie Wells, the Chelsea and Westminster now, hadn't it? I ended up in there at the end of the day operating on all 4, took all 4 out together, like, and I missed the last few games of the season. And then Danny got the sack, and Jeff came in. I was in the side regular from then onwards.
And when you were in the England schoolboy side, was you playing midfield then, or was you playing?
Yeah, midfield. I've always been. I played. Jeff played me up front for a little bit. I scored a few goals, like you know. I started when I first started playing as a young kid. I was playing up front, but then I moved back to the middle of the park. I don't know whether people have done it on purpose. I don't know why I was playing in the middle of the park. Whether someone was injured or whatever. I was just ended up staying there. Really, you know what I mean? I enjoyed it as well because you're involved all the time. You know what I mean? Up front, you get strained at the time. If you're in the middle of the park, you're getting the ball all the time. I think that's what my dad advised. You play in the middle of the park, you'll get on the ball all the time. You better play, won't you?
Well, that's common sense, mate. All your best players that play there, don't they? You know,
exactly.
they're the heartbeat of any team. Your midfield. You know, you say what you want about goal scorers. You know, they're special kind of people. You know, Oz. You know, the thing I said about Dave with Oz. You know, and when he slaughtered Oz, and you know, I couldn't work it out. Oh, Dave never once. And came in the dressing room and said to him, "Fucking, you saved us there. Well done."
Yeah.
You know,
there must have been a personality clash, wasn't it?
Well, it was. It was a personality clash, Mick. Yeah, but it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been because the problem is what I've always said about coaches. You know what they say: those you can't control, you get rid of. You know.
Oh, yes, right.
And they couldn't. You couldn't have a training session and Dave say to Oz, I want you to do this or do that. When Tommy Docherty first brought him in the team, there was a lot of trouble because he left Barry Bridges out, who was a big favourite at the Bridge.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm sorry if I've upset the fans. He said, but Osgood will play in the next 10 games, whether he plays well, Eustace, whatever, but he will be our new centre forward. This geezer, and that's what you want from a man.
You give him the confidence, then he knows he's got a platform to play. He's got 10 games to prove himself, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes the pressure off. Yeah,
of course it does.
Yeah.
But then with Chelsea, I played on a jet when I was top scorer one year. I mean, it was 1981. I won a Player of the Season or whatever. And then we've gone into the why I left there was I've been through that with the Bates situation and John Neal.
Yeah,
I don't think John wanted me to go. I think it was Ken Bates that was pushing it, like, you know.
Yeah,
but I like John Neal, but he's a strange bloke. But really, at the end of the day, him and Neil, funny old setup. And we've lost Tony. I bored him to tears.
No, it's not that. He does this. Spielberg done it when the old shark come out of the water, he disappeared. But I mean,
I talk about goals. I didn't know. Someone told me the other day. I'm number 50 or 51 or something in the top goal scorers the table or whatever it is. You know, I scored 41 to 42 goals for Chelsea, so it gets me up there above certain people, certain names that I look at.
You was only 3,000 behind Frank, weren't you?
3,000 above you.
I scored more than you, but they're only 5-a-side, Mick.
But Al, you'd like to have played in the same midfield with Micky, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'd love to play with him. I thought that would happen when he came back, like, you know. But it all went. It wasn't really till I got to know John Neal and kept going in his office, and Ian McNeil kept coming in. Do you want another cup of tea? Do you want another cup of tea? It's like, what am I doing here? You know, and he never talked nothing about football. And he didn't want to sign me, but I wanted to sign because it was handy for me. I knew I weren't going to get in the team. And then all these new faces come in, didn't they? Nigel Spackman. Yeah, that's someone I was leaving.
Yeah.
And they might have been sad too, like when we used to go over to Stamford Bridge Arms and drink champagne and orange. Remember I was trying?
In the old Stamford Bridge Arms.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
So,
we had a bet. Yeah, I mean, I always think about the times when I played and Eddie Whiskey, he would kick the ball from one box to the other. He couldn't half kick a ball, couldn't he? And that's what they wanted, you know.
Well, I didn't really know it. I've seen now. I obviously know him now, not to talk to him, whatever you like. But I didn't have that much. He came after my time anyway, so I didn't really know him that well, like, you know.
So when they sold you, Micky, that would have been the summer of 1983, I think.
I think it was, yeah.
And when John Neal came to you and said, you know, it's best you stay behind, did that come completely out of the blue?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting to come back and say, "Oh, we'll have a word with the chair and try and get a revised thing on your contract. How much money do you want, or whatever." I was getting crap money. To be honest with you, get people coming in there. Well, he coming. Kerry Dixon, that's the start of the agent thing. Well, Kerry was one of the first one. He come bowling in from Reading with an agent. What's the fucking agent about and all this sort, you know? And then I was expecting to come back, and then all of a sudden, I was getting myself ready to go to Aberystwyth, and then I get called in after training, and John Neal tells you that. He said, "Oh, you don't want to sign that contract with me." He said, "If you don't sign it," he said, "then you might as well stay back here." And he said, "Oh, they start trying to bully me." So I said, "Oh,
well, basically,
you know what I mean?
That's if they don't want you to do pre-season, they don't want you in the team. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, they wanted me out of the club. They just wanted me out of the club at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Try and either cash in, I didn't like me. End of story, you know.
Yeah, but he couldn't do that to me, Mick, because Batesy signed me. He didn't sign me. Batesy signed me.
No,
so his hands were tied, kind of thing.
No, I was saying it's your fault why I got thrown out. They couldn't handle two of us there at the same time.
Well, I'd have stayed behind with you if I'd have known, but because it did me no good. But I enjoyed. I found it really funny playing in the Chelsea reserves. You know, when you never played against 15, 20 people, you know, Oxford and Crystal Palace on a cold night and all that, and you think, what am I doing here? You know,
exactly.
But we made the most of it and laughed.
That's what you have to do, isn't it?
But the greatest story, I've said it a few times, is the one with Peter Rose Brown. He was part of the little clique, but he weren't like me and Micky and Dow and that. But this particular night, we had played. If they had filmed the lead up to the match with me and my little mate, you know, TD, Tony Davis, me and my little mate, we followed Micky Droy up to the Oxford ground, and we're playing Oxford reserves. He pulled into McDonald's at 6:30 to have an hamburger. The game kicked off at 7:30. He had a double hamburger. Well, Micky Droy, yeah. So I went, "Your pre-match meal?" He went, yeah. So that was started the night off. Anyway, we beat Oxford 3-2. Never thought nothing more of it. So I said, "Look, we go down to Rocky Taylor, the stuntman, had a wine bar in Putney Bridge Road, Putney High Street. 6 of us in there, Micky, Rhodesy, TD, Johnny Bumstead, I think might have been there. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, Rhodesy's turned round and he went, "Can I say something?" And we went, "Yeah, it's about time you said so." He went, "I can't believe it." He said, "I'm looking round here. We got Big Micky Droy, we got him, and we got Hudson, played for England against West Germany, and we couldn't beat Oxford." So we all looked at each other. We went, "Are you on drugs, Rosie?" So he went, "No." He said, "I can't believe we didn't beat them tonight." So we all said, "Stop bitching about it." And he went, "No, I won't have it." He was convinced that we drew 2-2. I've never played in any football match in my life where I didn't know the score. But he didn't know the score that night. And the strangest thing about it, a few weeks later, he signed for Oxford.
Yeah, right.
So they must have seen something in him that thought, well, he can change the results for us or something, you know. But that was all the laugh. It was worth it just for that, for the crack, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's a nice lad, Rhodes, at the end of the day.
Rhodes, he's doing brilliant at Oxford, isn't he?
Hey, sorry, what?
He's doing brilliant at Oxford.
Yeah.
He's one of the top men up there.
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah.
Living down the jungle, you don't hear nothing down here. Come
No.
through people
Well,
like you know what I mean?
don't hear anything here, Mike. But on a scale, do you put Venables up there with anyone as a coach?
Oh, he's a top man. Venables is a top man. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I was saying to Tony yesterday. I'll speak to Tony.
Just for people that don't know, just explain how you got involved with Terry Venables.
Terry Venables, well, you're talking about after the game at West Ham, after we played Southampton down at the Dell in the cup, and I think I scored down there. We beat them 2-1, I think, in the FA Cup. And it was a replay in the middle of midweek, like, you know, and we was coming back up and I was going to go out, and Ursy was manager. And he said, "Why don't you go up to Maltons and Berkeley Square?" So he said, "I'll give me the name of the doorman that will speak to and all that. Let us see. We get to be a member, don't you?"
Yeah.
So we get up there. Who's at the bar? Is Venables and your mate Rodney Marsh.
Yeah,
Believe it or not. But they've been down to the, I've got to tell you this, they've been down to the game that night and watched me play, like, you know. And he was sort of half tapping me up about, go, how do you feel about playing on a plastic pitch? They had champagne as they would do on the bar, like, you know. Pour me and Gary Chivers a glass out each, and then we was talking to them a lot, you know. And then we went our separate ways, like, you know. But that's how that sort of, it was not broken. And then a little while later, I was end up signed for QPR.
So you're lucky, really. You're lucky, really.
Yeah.
You're lucky he was at that game.
Not really. He said he'd been following me around. I knew him when I was playing with Chelsea Youth against Palace and all that, and the reserves against Palace. He's always at the game, watching the games, like, you know. And but Venice was brilliant, though. You know, I was saying to Tony, I keep saying it. He had a system. Everyone knew what was going on. I mean, that year I got there, they'd been in the FA Cup final, and then that season we ended up fourth in the first division. We should have won it. I mean, we went to Highbury one time, and they couldn't get out of their own half. It was 2-0 up in the second half. They couldn't get out of their own half at all because of the offside trap. And the system he played, when they get the ball, they sort of play. They can only have it in egg shape. They can't go on the outsides. So it's a sort of pressing game they do today, right? Yeah. Venice was doing that years ago. So the fullbacks and they don't let the fullback. Our wingers don't let their fullbacks advance ball down. They can't knock the ball down the line, right? You send them inside, and it condenses the game into a pitch in the middle. And then we're marking as midfield, you're marking in front of you, man. And he said, Venice should say, let the centre halves have it. He said, because they can't play, they'll give it to you. And he was right what he said. And before the team couldn't get their own half the way we played. We pounced on them, bang, 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 and you got the ball in their half then. And also he's playing it very tight at the back, was playing offside. We got labelled a bit of an offside team, like, you know, but it worked. So, but
was you there before Tony Curry or after?
Tony, he was there. I say he was there. But he wasn't there. He just left the year before me, I think. But he was always there at the ground, so I knew China quite well, like, you know. But it's nice to have been a play with him up there, you know.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I think he's coming to the end of his career anyway. Tony's finished his career.
Well, it weren't the right place, as I said to you. You know, I remember saying to you that day, don't go there, fight for your place and get in it, especially if they're going to get promoted this year. You know, you'd have been that you was a quality they would need once they stepped up. But
I was already playing at the time. You know, I'd have been the first name on the sheet, and then that's why they want to get rid of me. You know, I can't understand that. Why they wanted to get rid of me, I don't know. I never know to this day. No one will.
Well, I can understand they wanted to get rid of you because they didn't want to play. They didn't want footballers in the team.
No, that era, that is what happened. They didn't want football players. They wanted people who could run up and down the pitch like Nigel Spackman and people like that. But they can't play, right? They can't really play. You know what I mean? They can't open teams up with passes and, play football.
No creation.
No creation at all. They run up and down the pitch. They tackle, fit as fuck, you know, but they can't play. I mean, at the end of that, I have roused loads of people about this, you know, managers and whatever. They used to get me back and say, you're not fit enough. Run me around the pitch, do this, do doggies. Oh, I was fit as anything, you know what I mean? And I said, hang on a minute, you're letting me do this. I said, what about so-and-so over here? I said, all these players that can't pass the ball. Why are they not backing it up and working on their fucking passing?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they're not, you know what I mean? That's why they single you out.
Well, I dig you out. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can run up and down the pitch all like a lunatic all the time, right? But when you got the ball, you can pass it. But they didn't make them come back and work on their skills.
Mick, I had exactly the same situation at Stoke, not with me, but I played in the pre-season game one day for Stoke against Wigan, and they had this kid in midfield called Tony Kelly. Scouser. The Scouser.
Yeah, I remember him, yeah.
Played kind of right half. Well, he ended up being at Stoke. They ended up being called Zico because he took the free kicks. He was lemon, mate. He was lemon. He was mustard. Yeah. Great, terrific lad. Great footballer. Terrific lad. He could score goals like that. But he had a little bit of a weight problem, tiny bit, and I think it was. I don't know. It was Mick. It might have been Mick Mills. Might have been him. Sammy Chung said to him, "If you carry on, if you don't lose £6 by the weekend, you're not playing." Because he liked to go to McDonald's, not Malcolm's place. Anyway, I said at the time, the way to treat people like Tony was exactly what you just said. Get him back in the afternoons to teach the kids.
Yeah.
You know, take the kids over there and just play five-a-side with them and work on their touch and their technique and all that, you know, because he could play, this kid. That's the way I would have handled him if I was a manager. But instead, they threatened him. So you threaten someone, that ain't going to happen.
Nah.
You ain't going to. They're trying to tell you that they want you out of the club, you know. And basically it's going back to Osgood. What happened to Osgood? Yeah. Who gives a monkey whether Osgood do a cross country, you know?
No.
Peter Osgood was all about Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Forget about him all week.
That's right. But I always remember my dad you always stick up for yourself, like with the managers and everyone, like, you know. And I remember this is later on in my career. John Gregory, I played with John Gregory down in QPR. And then he ended up as my manager down at Portsmouth. And I come back with me, I think he was playing Leeds, I can't remember who it was. And there was a game going on. And it was the days when there was only 12 players, I was sub, like, you know. I think it was losing 3-1 down at Fratton Park. There's about 3 minutes to go. And he says, "Wait, fellas, get warmed up." I said, "Fuck off, you go and get warmed up." And I just sat there, didn't move. Well, what am I going to do? 3 minutes, you know? By the time he warmed up, there'd be a minute left, wouldn't it? Come on. So then Jim Gregory found out about it, ran me round the pitch for him, fined me 2 weeks' wages, and mate.
Oh, well, yeah, that's exactly what I'd have done. But I had the same situation at Highbury one night. We played Manchester City in the League Cups. I think it was a quarter final. So Arsenal had gone up there. Pat Jennings was out of this world. I didn't go. I was out of the thing. But I was subbing the replay at Highbury. And I said, you know, at Highbury, they had a little box on as you walk down the tunnel. There were like little boxes on the side where the manager, the coach, the sub, and a fella called Tony. He was a boot man. He was this man. He'd done everything.
Yeah.
He was a great little fella. And I'm sitting next to him, and Manchester City were tearing Arsenal apart. We couldn't get the ball off them. Micky Shannon played. Steve Williams was at Southampton. He played. Hazel Hartford. Arsenal couldn't get. And Don Howe kept saying to Derry Neal, change it every 5 minutes. Yeah. Change it. What he was trying to say, he'd bring me on. But I was happy not to come on because I had a bit of a stomach complaint at the moment. I thought 45 minutes to do me. So it comes to about 8 minutes, because you've got the clock there, about 8 minutes to go to half time. And Terry Neal comes up with his bright idea. I think you're coming on. And I went, I said, I fucking ain't coming on. I said, my feet are freezing. I said, I'm going in. I said, Tone, come on, we go in. If I'm coming on, I'm going to go and warm my feet up. And we walked up the tunnel. Well, Tony coming up the tunnel. We were laughing. He said, in all my life in this place, I've never heard nothing like it. I said, you polish my boots and I'm going to run my feet under the hot tap. And if they found coming on. So that all the players, the doors, swing doors swung open, and all the the studs, the lads sat down. It was still nil. Thankfully, it was still 0-0. So he went to John Matthews, "You're coming off, Hudson's coming on." So then Tony brought me boots over, I put my boots on, and we went out, we won the game. And I ran the game, and that was the best 45 minutes. I had a nightmare at Arsenal, but that 45 minutes. And I remember going to a little afternoon club the next day to have a drink with my mate Tony. We got off at Gloucester Road Station, and we got an Evening Standard all over the back page. Terry Neal pulls off masterstroke. And I thought, he didn't even want me on the field. Yeah. Don Howe was the one that, he lived up to that. You know, he thought he should have turned around and have said, "Oh, Don Howe done that." Yeah. You know, but so it's funny how similar things happen. They don't want you on the field, and because
people don't. Football's a horrible business at the end of the day. You know, people suppose that they don't see the bad side of it. Like, well, they treat you like a bit of meat, like, you know. I mean, I've had some nasty injuries in my time, and I've been trying. They tried to write me off at QBR. I had a back problem, which kept me out for a year. I disc toe and had an operation. I couldn't get myself back fit. Or I could do, but I didn't have. They didn't have the equipment or the know-how to get me back into shape again, because they always jogging me around the pitch for 20 minutes, and this went on, and I had a big row with Jim Smith at the time, and they got me into a place called the RAF Rehabilitation Centre at Headley Court. It was down at Leatherhead, and I was down there for about 3 or 4 weeks, and they got me back to the time of the Falklands and all that, and they had a lot of bad injuries, like back injuries and stuff there, and I was training with them, like, you know, having treatment, and they got me back to playing again, like, you know. So people don't realise that, you know, at the end of their career as well, they just cut you off like a piece of meat. Like, that's it.
That's it.
Nowadays, they get good money. Don't get me wrong.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to say. The difference is they will put up with that.
Yeah.
If you're getting 200 grand a week, you think, "Oh, I don't mind going on the bench for 200 grand a week." Do you? You know, it's you still want to play, but what they don't realise as well. What they don't realise, Mick, is players don't know that this new system of rotation and everything else, playing certain people and then not playing certain people and all that puts about 3-4 years on your career.
Yeah, I will do, won't it?
Yeah. So instead of playing week in, week out, you're on the bench for a couple of games. So, but they don't realise it at the time, players, that is good for them.
No,
there might not be as good a team on the field as if they were in it, but it's a better. You have a little rest. I mean, we played Chelsea 1970. I remember going in a treatment room, and Ozzy was having treatment on his ankle, and I patted him on the thigh, and I went, "Bloody hell, mate, what are we going to do? Who's going to get our goals tomorrow?" He said, "Me." I said, "You can't play with an ankle like that." He said, "I'll be there tomorrow. Don't worry about that. I'm playing." So he picked himself.
But sort of about a treatment room. So I remember being there. I think I was an apprentice at the time. I've been a schoolboy or whatever, you know. And John Dempsey, God bless him, Dempsey, right? I was sitting on a thing having some interferential saying, Dempsey's coming, right? And remember Eddie Franklin?
Yeah.
And Reg Bite used to help him as well, didn't he? And Eddie said, "All right," Eddie, he said, "Sit up on the bench, David. What's it? He's got a bit of a problem with my thigh." So he said, "What's the matter?" He said, "He took his thread." He said, he had a load of crosses done. He put these crosses on his thigh to show exactly where the spot was. I didn't know whether he was taking the piss. He's fucking serious. Well, I think he was deadly serious, to be honest with you.
We had a show about them, and we said, you know, he used to come in the dressing room and put Harry's white coat on and walk around and have a look, you know, look at people's legs. He said, "Amputation, that amputation there." He said, "You won't be fit for the morning." He'd walk around, he'd be making out he's having a cigarette like Harry Meadows done, you know. But he was Debs was different class, wasn't he?
No, he's a fantastic bloke.
Yeah.
Tommy Langley was on the show. We did a little tribute to him, Mickey. when he passed away, and he said exactly the same story about them putting crosses on his.
Oh,
his
did he? That's amazing, isn't it?
Listen, we've touched on your Chelsea career a bit, and we've touched a bit on your QPR career. You went from QPR to Pompey. Now, I know you played with some characters when you went to Fratton Park. Tell us a bit about your time there.
Well, Fratton Park, went down there after me. I was out for about a season, be back, and I got myself back. They'd written me off QPR, like, you know, and I got myself back playing again. I had quite a good season, and then my contract was up, and they had to offer you terms that you'd previously engaged on, it shouldn't be less favourable. When I was getting a sign-on fee plus wages, right, and they offered me the same wages, but the secretary had forgotten to put the sign-on fee in. So therefore, I'm getting less money, ain't I? So I spoke to Gordon Taylor, and I went up and spoke to him, and he said, "You can touch a free transfer. You've got to go for it." So, you know.
Yeah.
So I went through the rigmarole. That way, there was a thing up the Belfry, and that's quite a funny. So I walked in because they had. I never met Gordon Taylor before. Right? I'd seen him on the TV and all that. And Graham Kelly was on the other side of things, right? And I walked in, I thought, I see Graham Kelly. I was going to sit next to him, got a cup of tea. I was like, oh, God. He said, he looking at me, what's going on here? He said, I'm thinking it's Graham. I think it's Graham Taylor, but it's Gordon Kelly. He's working for the other side. And all of a sudden, Gordon Taylor's come all up. You know, what have I done here? Like, but anyway, I got the free transfer at the end of the day, and I ended up going down, and Alan Ball took me down to Portsmouth, and they'd just been promoted to First Division. And we had another squad there, like, you know, Kenny Swain was down there, playing right back, and you had Billy Gilbert, Noel Blake, who else?
Stoke.
We had, what's her name? Micky Kennedy, Kevin Dillon was another one I didn't mention yesterday. Kevin Dillon. Mickey Quinn was down. Paul Mariner was playing up front as well, like, you know. We had a hell of a squad down there. There was a drinking squad, you know what I mean? It was a nightmare. Fights every night. You went out drinking all that, you know what I mean? But no, I quite enjoyed my time down at Portsmouth. But then I was getting quite good money down. And Jim Gregory, the chairman of Fillery, he came down, didn't he? And when he came down, he found out he was livid about I got a free transfer from QPR. He was absolutely livid about everything. He never stopped mentioning it every time he spoke. I got well with him, to be fair, like, you know. And I was in the last year of my contract, and I think they want to get rid of him. So I know it was the transfer deadline time, and I played against Oldham up there. They was top of the league, second division in them days, and I played against them, and I played well up there because it's a plastic pitch, wasn't it? And I played quite well.
Joe Royal days.
Joe Royal, yeah. So, and then Joe Rob, he shot me on deadline day. I think for something like 40 grand they paid for me, like. But and then I played my first. I was well happy to go up there because they're going to get promoted into the new Premier League now, right? You know. And my first game, 20 minutes of the game, he just done me over at the ball. Come on, chested it down, and as I went to take with his thigh, he's hit me below the chin with his studs, and it done me posterior cruciate ligament, snaps it in half. And they said, up there, they said, bearing in mind my age, they didn't want to operate on it because there wasn't so much technology in them days, was there? Basically, they wrote me up as well. And I got myself back playing. He should have played me, to be honest with you. It's a similar sort of thing with your thing, Alan, like, you know?
Yeah.
And he got Mick Milligan back from Everton. And he loved Mick Milligan. He kept playing, but I was the better player, to be honest. Even the supporters were saying he should be playing Mick and number, you know? And but he never did. I got fed up with it. He kept asking me to go on loan to Huddersfield, and I was in art training. He called me in his office, and he had Owen Hand sat there with him. I said, I never met. I don't know who Owen Hand was, right? You know. He said Owen Hand's manager of home, and I said, look, I don't really want to go on. No, he said, well, I'll go. He said, come over. And I said, well, at the time I'd lost my license, right? I didn't have a license for my car. I said, right, are we going to put me up? He said, no, you have to travel on the train and bus over the moors. Like, I can't come up my head. I said, forget about it, like, you know. And then he tried to get me to go to Rochdale. So they all say, he said, Torquay. I said, right, English Riviera, I'll have some of that. I said, and I went down there for a month, and that was a bit pair. I've done enough of football. Then I packed up, like, you know. They paid me contract up, and then I went to Hong Kong for about a month, where I fed up with that, and I come home then and I jacked it in completely and went into the building trade, like, you know. So that's the end of that.
And just let everyone know where you are now and what you're up to, Mick.
I'm down. I've been down in Dartmoor now for. We live actually on the edge, right on the edge of Dartmoor, like, you know. We've been down here for 12 years. I've retired now because obviously my injury, I couldn't work anyway, like, you know. But I don't want to go into all that crap. No, I've got a wife down. I've got 2 donkeys, and we've got 4. We have 4. One dog. I've got 3 cats, like, you know. But we've got quite a bit of land here, so every morning I get up and do the donkeys, like the donkey stable, and you have to feed them in the evening and all that, you know. And
them donkeys, do they remind you? Did the donkeys? Do they remind you of any players you played with?
Yeah, only you. No, but I did get involved with a football setup down when I first come down, which is a great leveler, really, because it opened us up to the community, like, you know. Once you get involved with people, I've got to know. It's a different league being I was like assistant manager of the local side here, like, you know. They were in the 4th division of the Devon and Exeter League, like, you know. It's like Saturday, Sunday football, like, you know. And I got them up to the Premier. We got to the Premier, and I couldn't do it anymore because of my back and all that, you know, to take the training and whatever. But it was good because you got to meet all the players. There were farmers, there was this, all different players. You get to meet the supporters and stuff like that. It gets you into the community, if you understand what I'm saying. But there was all different sorts of problems with that. So, you know, you get the farmers, you get like lambing season. I can't play because it's lambing season, and you couldn't get goalkeepers. I'm not playing this week because I'm training for the London Marathon. I said, fucking what? You know, all these sort of stuff. I'm going to a wedding, right? You know, you have all these problems every week. There'll be someone with a different excuse. They couldn't play and all that. You know what I mean? And they get a goalkeeper down here. You know, we was it like gold dust? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was interesting, and I thoroughly enjoyed it down here.
Well, you're that laid back in here. You would. You would. When you're coming up.
When am I coming up? It's got quiet here. I can't hear you.
We can still hear you, Mick.
You still hear me? Okay. No, I won't be back for a while because I've got to pick my dad. My dad's coming down. I lost my mother a couple of months back. And I'm picking my dad up next week to bring him down. He doesn't live in London no more. He's down in Sussex. So I'm picking him up and bring him down here for a couple of weeks, and I'll take him back. But in the new year, I'll be coming up.
Will ya?
Yeah, I'll give you a shout. Well, you still have a World's End?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you a shout when I'm coming up.
Will you stay up the night or you go back?
I'll stay up, don't worry about it. I can't go back the same day, can I? 4 hours in the car, isn't it?
I look forward to that. You'll enjoy my mate at Tony's pub. He's a big Chelsea fan. We had a good night with Letizia over there a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, Matt come down and done a great night for us, me and him.
Yeah.
And it was funny because a lot of the people that drink in Tony's pub Chelsea supporters didn't come. So it just goes to show, doesn't it, that, you know, you got a genius like him.
Yeah.
And I said, Tony, no one else could get this geezer for what we give Matt.
Yeah.
I said, please come and do it for me, Matt. And he went, yeah, Al, I'll do it. He said, but I've got to give the missus something. I've got to give her something to go shopping with. I said, I'll get you some readies, don't worry. So I told Tony, I said, give him X amount, and he said, thank, I'll come down. And he drove down, he drove back. He was great with the customers. You know, a few of them were heckling and all that, but he put them all in their place, you know. But he did it with a bit of class as well, which he is. He's a class player, bloke.
What a player. I was watching recently, they did a top 100 goals on our Sky, whatever it is. The 100 goals. Like Matt you see some of the goals he scored? It's unbelievable, wasn't it?
Well, we did a podcast with him, and I said, I know your favourite goal, your greatest goal. It was the one at Blackburn, wasn't it? He picked it up just inside his own half. He went past 3 people in their half, and he put in a top corner about 35 yards. That Tim Flowers was in goal.
Yeah.
And he was wrestled in the net. He was nestling in the net, trying to get out the net like a trawler, you know what I mean? Like a fish.
I always remember going back to the old days. Trevor Brooking at West Ham, we played at Upton Park. I think they beat us 3-2 or that. Trevor had curled one with his left peg. Top call. Peter Barotta was in goal. All right. Second half, the sentiment of his right peg, come inside. He bent one with his right foot, going to the top goal. Peter Barotta's gone like that. Just claps in the goal, like, you know. But Brooking, what a fantastic player he was as well, wasn't he? He don't get mentioned very often, but probably West Ham supporters remember him, don't they?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Trevor Brooking, because when you were at your peak at Chelsea, people used to compare you with Trevor Brooking.
Did they? Yeah. But Trevor Brooking, he was a great player as well, like, you know. I'm afraid, boys, I'm going to have to go because my phone keeps buzzing. There's my dad trying to get through to me, and I'm worried about his something accent, like, you know.
Keep in touch and let me know when you're coming up, Michael.
I will do. It's lovely to speak to you, and nice to meet you, Tony, as well.
Great.
We'll keep in touch.
It's been a pleasure to have you on, Micky. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'll speak
and
to
by
you
the way, before I go, you were better than Brooking, mate. It's just you couldn't behave yourself. That's the problem. But,
he was a gentleman, and I wasn't.
Well, that's why he's the top man, one of the top men in the FA and all that, because I like Trevor. He's a nice man. I was his first roommate with the England squad when I went.
Yeah.
And I knew that I would, you know, I knew as soon as we got in the room, I was ready to go out and whatever. But he phoned his wife as soon as he got in the room, tell her that he turned up all right. He got there safe. And I thought, oh my God, you know. If I'd have done that to my wife, she would have thought I'd have had a bird in the room or something.
How could he be safe in the same hotel room as you?
No chance.
Hey, listen, mate, I'm no Gascoigne. Don't worry about that. He's the one, not me. I was an angel compared to Gaza. Lovely anyway, Mick.
He's a character. Go on, sorry.
No, lovely to have you on.
And you. It's lovely to speak to you, and I'll speak to you soon.
We'll get together when you come up, yeah?
I will do, definitely. And Tony, I've got your number. I'll keep in touch as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Mick. Thanks a lot again for coming on.
I'll speak to you soon.
All right.
Get back to your business. Sort them donkeys out.
They can sort themselves. I mean, the missus done them this morning. She's done me a favour. Can we do it again tomorrow? Right, I'll see you later, guys. Thanks.
Guys.
Good night, mate.
Bye.
See you soon. Happy Christmas, sir.
Hey, happy Christmas to you too and all. Sorry.
And you.
And you.